I can't explain to my husband why I won't have fun with him anymore. NSFW. This is a throwaway. Husband uses Reddit, but mostly for gaming subs. I, 28F, and my husband, 41M, have been together for 4 years, 2 of which we have been married. We have had the usual problems, mostly about finances or silly disagreements, but these are typically solved quickly. We both pride ourselves for being open in our feelings and communication, so our disagreements don't last long. We share a lot of the same interests, but also have our own friends and lives. I feel lucky to have found him. Until recently, I felt like we were soulmates. My husband watches Korn, as do I, but our tastes differ. We don't incorporate it into our fun lives by watching it together, and he watches a lot more than me. Sometimes he wants to try things he sees in Korn, which he has always talked to me about first, and has always said something like, "Hey, I saw this in a Korn," and then explained it. If it is something I think might be fun, I am happy to comply. If it isn't, I refuse, and he lets it go. If we try it and I don't like it, we don't do it anymore, and our fun life has been nice. It isn't always mind-blowing fun, but honestly, we're past the honeymoon phase, and if we both have time for fun once a week, we are doing good. I've never before had a complaint in this part of our lives. I'm fairly sure he plays with himself often, but I'm not the type to be upset about that. 2 weeks ago, we were having fun with it, and both enjoying ourselves. I don't want to be too graphic, but we were in a position where it is easy to zig instead of sag. In other words, he accidentally went from front to back at full thrust. It hurt a lot. I immediately pulled away. He apologized. It seemed like an honest mistake. That night, we ended up continuing in a different position after a little while, and all seemed forgiven. Things happen, fun is messy. About a week ago, we were having fun, and he did the same exact thing, but this time, we were in a different position. More importantly, because he was on top with my thighs held in his hands, and I on my back, I couldn't pull away like the first time. I yelped and then told him to stop, but it took him a few seconds to hear me, or so I thought, and he ended up thrusting a few times, but I thumped his chest to get his attention. He apologized again, and then, he said something like, "We could have just kept going. You enjoy backdoor." That's true. I do. If able to prepare both physically and mentally, I do not want a surprise, and I cannot express how much it hurt because I wasn't expecting it. Well, fun was over for that night. I was pissed and I felt and still feel disrespected. After this second time, it didn't seem like an accident. I mean, if he had wanted backdoor, we could have talked about it if he had warned me beforehand. Because like I said, I do enjoy it, although not all the time, and I need to prepare, be in the mood. The next day he was sulky and distant, as if he were the wrong party in this situation, which only served to piss me off more, and I just had this sneaking suspicion about the situation. In my 11 years of being funally active, I have never had a partner accidentally do this before. I was off work that day after, while he went to work. When he left, I got onto our laptop with the full intention of checking his browser history to see what kind of Korn had been watching recently. As I said, he watches a lot of Korn, and I had this feeling he was watching some degrading or borderline abusive Korn, which I am neither into nor do I particularly want my husband to watch for tips on how to act in bed. I didn't realize this whole thing had a name. Wrong hole or surprise backdoor were his 2 most recent searches according to his history for the Korn site he uses, and he had watched at least 20 different videos of it. I clicked on one of the videos. I have no idea if it was typical for that particular genre search term, but the male actor just goes for it and the female actress is nearly in tears. I mean, it could be a farce, right? She could be faking the pain. I don't know. But I wasn't when it happened to me. For days I have stewed on this without mentioning it to him, while he goes about his happy life thinking all is well. He got over his pouting, but how do I get over knowing my husband intentionally lived out his corn fantasy on me, by surprising me with backdoor? How do I tell my husband I won't have fun with him because I no longer trust him not to hurt me? Edit. 5/2. About 9:30 p.m. my time. I tried to message the mods to see if I could edit or update without getting deleted or banned from the sub, but haven't heard back. PLS. If you're a mod, let me know and I will delete this update if it isn't allowed. I just wanted to let anyone interested know that I am having that conversation with my husband tonight when he gets home in about an hour and a half. My brother is coming tonight in about half an hour. I plan for him to sit on the porch while I tell my husband what I found, how I feel, and how I need space. He needs to leave for a while, if not permanently. The house is mine, and protected by inheritance laws and a prenup, so I will not be willing to leave. If he doesn't want to leave, my brother will help me to convince him. I have not decided whether to tell my brother about what happened, because my brother is very protective, and an ex-Marine. I do not want anyone getting hurt, not my husband or myself. I just want time to think without my husband there to wheedle his way back into my good graces. And I know that is what he will try to do, by telling me I am overreacting or being dramatic. Thanks for all the comments, stories, and advice. I am glad I posted here. You helped me to put this in perspective I might have found on my own. Update to my post. I don't know if anyone will see this. I see that some people have followed me, so this is for you who did, who are likely wondering if I am okay. And thank you for that concern. My post was not deleted by me. For me, it shows post is awaiting moderator approval. I likely shouldn't have tried to update it. I don't know. I should have made up names. But for this, I will just say husband instead of typing out my husband repeatedly. And brother is my older brother. I spoke to husband last night. It wasn't a very long conversation. I had printed off a comment made by someone. I don't want to name them in case they don't want that. And a copy of my post. Although not all the comments. I had what I wanted to say all prepared in my head. If you didn't see the update I tried to make on my original post, I asked my brother to come to my house. Brother showed up half an hour before husband came home from work. I told him I needed to get husband out of the house, and I wanted brother there waiting on the porch in case husband refused or turned violent, the latter of which I thought unlikely, but I wanted to be safe. My brother is an ex-Marine, and he scares the hell out of my husband. So just his presence would be enough. Of course, brother wanted to know why I wanted husband out. I told him I would tell him later, to please wait outside and tell husband to come to the kitchen to talk. Husband came home to find brother sitting on the porch. He greeted him like usual, although he did ask brother if something was wrong since it was late and normally brother is early to bed, early to rise. Brother just told him to talk to me. Husband came straight to the kitchen where brother said I would be. I asked him to sit. I won't say I had what I wanted to tell him memorized, but I did have a rough outline, and I followed it. A lot of it came from the helpful comment left on my post, and some of it came from other advice or topics brought up in comments or DMs. But I said it all in my own words. When husband interrupted, which he did often, I just continued on my preset path so I could get it all out. Mostly, what husband kept repeating was, "Why are you doing this? You're being dramatic. You're blowing this out of proportion." That my post, which I showed him, was taking things out of context. This is ridiculous. And the one that made me glad I confronted him, that you're just making this up. The last comment really got to me. He was there when it happened both times. It's not like we were drunk or half asleep or stoned or something. I do not have memory problems. Neither does he. Luckily, his saying I was making it all up was the last thing he said right before I told him I wanted him to leave the house for a while, because when he said that I got very angry. Before that point I tried to remain very calm. I can't really remember what else I said, but I remember standing up and telling him to get out of my house. I'm not going to listen to this horse shit, and I will not be told I am lying when we both know what happened. Husband was red-faced and irate at this point. He said something self-righteous about how this was as much his home as mine. And then brother came charging in. So I guess I was either screaming when I told husband to leave or brother had become worried. When brother came into the kitchen, he just stood between me and my husband and said, "Don't worry, I'll stay here with her tonight. She'll be safe. Go pack your bags." I'm not sure if brother meant that as a mild threat, but husband took it as one. And so my husband went upstairs and was gone for maybe 15 minutes. He didn't pack much. I assume because he expects to be back in the house soon. He didn't say another word or even come back into the kitchen. He just left. And then brother asked me what all this was about. So I stupidly told him because I needed to talk to someone at that moment. Now I'm worried that if husband shows up, brother will do something stupid. But brother stayed here last night and all today because we were both off work today. And he will be here tonight. It's been nice having him here, at least. I'm not used to being in the house alone at night anymore. Tomorrow brother has to work, as do I. But he said something about a rotation of ex-Marine friends spending nights in the garage or the driveway until I get the locks changed, security system passcode changed. I think that's overkill, but even if I say no, he will just have them sitting in their cars, parked out on the street in front of the house. I have not spoken to husband today. I texted him shortly after he left to remind him I needed time alone to think. So I blocked him for now. And I said if there was any emergency he could call brother. He has not tried to contact me. I know he went to work tonight because a mutual friend of ours, from his workplace, texted me to ask what was wrong with husband, that he was in a mood, and I have spent all day thinking, and still am not sure what I want to do or how long this will take before I decide. It hasn't been easy to find a therapist at such short notice, but I'm looking. Sorry, I've rambled enough. I had thanked everyone in my post in the edit, but since that isn't showing up, let me thank everyone here for your kind words, advice, comments, and DMs. They truly helped me, and I'm glad I made that post because it gave me the confidence to question the situation when I was ready to let it all go instead of confronting it. So thank you. Update to my post number 2 as I am still getting comments, replies, DMs, and, for some reason, followers. I thought I would take a moment to provide an update. I probably shouldn't go into too many details. I do not yet have a lawyer, but I imagine a lawyer would tell me to be careful about what I post concerning this. If I delete this, I guess you'll know why. So, a few days ago, husband came over uninvited while I was carrying groceries in through the garage's door. The garage door was open as I had just driven inside it. Brother had gone shopping with me but ran inside and then outside to the backyard with his dog for potty time. Husband came in through the garage, then the door to the house, and into the kitchen where I was sitting, grocery bags down. He was in a rage, saying things like, "How dare you lock me out of my house? And I'm tired of this stupid bullshit." The moment I saw him, I began to thread my way around the kitchen table towards the patio doors. Husband grabbed my arm, kept arguing. I truly have no idea what he was saying at that point. I kept telling him, "It doesn't matter. This is over. This is over. We're over," or something like that. I don't even remember him hitting me. One moment I was trying to pull my arm free, then the next I was falling against one of the kitchen chairs, but I don't even remember him lifting his fist. But I remember the pain of my ankle twisting. I remember that very well. The pain from the fist to the face came afterwards. I guess brother heard the commotion of me falling. But brother's dog, Roscoe, got there before him. Roscoe is a sweet dog. He knows husband, and has played with husband. We've even watched Roscoe when brother went on vacation. Roscoe was not a sweet dog at that moment. If Roscoe had been hunkered down and growling at me, snapping and leaping forward with all intent to harm, I would have been terrified. Husband just tried to shout at Roscoe to sit down. Roscoe wasn't having it. When husband came forward, maybe to drag the dog away or to get a hold of me, I don't know, Roscoe attacked. I remember hearing my brother shouting at Roscoe to get down a moment later, and luckily he's a very well-trained dog and listened, because when he bit husband's leg, he got him close to the inside of his upper thigh and was not letting go. Didn't occur to me at the time, but later brother said Roscoe could have ripped husband's femoral artery by biting there. Husband was on the floor, screaming obscenities and threats about Roscoe and how he was going to kill him. Brother calmly told me to walk outside for a moment, to take Roscoe with me. So we went. I hobbled outside and Roscoe unwillingly came with me. He stood at the patio door though. I couldn't get him to come out onto the patio where I was. I think he wanted to watch to make sure husband wasn't a threat to brother. I heard brother talking calmly, which I later learned was him calling 911. I sat in a patio chair for, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It felt like forever until I heard the sirens. I probably shouldn't be typing all this out for the internet, but it somehow feels good to do so. Like lancing a wound and getting the suppuration out. Long story short of it, husband was arrested for assault. He went to the ER and then the infirmary of the county jail. Roscoe had to be taken away by animal control, but has since been released back to brother once brother proved he had his rabies shots and was up to date on all vaccinations. I'm sure the fact that Roscoe was protecting me will work in his favor. As stupid as it sounds, I'm more worried about Roscoe facing some consequences for helping me than I am worried about what happened to me. My brother worked with dogs in the Marines. Roscoe is the love of his life. If he loses Roscoe over this, I will never forgive myself. So, husband has criminal charges and now has a protective order against him. Brother has refrained from saying to me, "I told you so," but I can see it in his face. However, he's reassured me at every point that he is glad Roscoe did as he did, and that if something happens where he loses Roscoe, it is not my fault. Roscoe got a T-bone steak for being a good boy, and I am looking into divorce lawyers at this very moment, with my ankle up and iced, and Roscoe lying beside me snoring. This is a horrible update. I'm sorry, my life is in shambles right now. But thank you again to everyone for your kind words, advice, stories, and interest. It does make me feel better to know that someone out there is wishing me the best. OP comments on her husband's legal situation. Well, husband is now out of jail and the charges were dropped. Not by me, by the Commonwealth attorney. I wish I could say he would face some consequences for all this. At this point, I just want him gone. Though, maybe getting bitten by Roscoe will deter him from trying to confront me again. At least, Roscoe is currently staying with me 24/7. I just lost a dog 4 months ago. One my husband and husband adopted together, who died of age-related issues. I'm not sure I'm ready for another one. Right now, Roscoe and brother being here is best, and neither seems intent upon leaving anytime soon, thankfully. And again, I wish I had any control over it. I only just learned this morning from the prosecutor that there will be no criminal charges. I was also chastised by the Commonwealth attorney while telling me that she is not pursuing felony assault charges, and has advised the county attorney not to pursue misdemeanor assault charges. The protection order still stands for now, though. as it is an emergency protection order, but expires after 2 weeks. I can't nail him to the wall, it seems. I can't even hold him accountable at all. Yes, I love children but never really wanted any, nor did he. I am very glad we both agreed on that, at least, and no children are involved. As of now, Roscoe is staying with me 24/7. I took my vacation time early, won't be needing it for that trip to the PNW husband and I were planning, and luckily my supervisors were very understanding. My brother also took a week's vacation to be here, as well, and has already offered to sublet his apartment until his lease is up so he can stay here for as long as I need. I have to be honest, I'm afraid of guns. My brother owns them, of course. Being a Marine he is comfortable with them, so he can bring his. But he did buy me a canister of pepper spray. I've been keeping it on a lanyard around my neck or beside where I'm sitting. Thank you. The support from strangers on Reddit has been a boon I didn't expect to receive when I first made my post.